Good morning, my wonderful friends. Megas with you on a beautiful day in Asha. What if there was words that you could speak that would work magic and miracles like Jesus, like Zarathustra? What if you could speak words and create magic in your life today, right now? Those words exist. I'm going to share that with you today. I want to share a couple of stories with you real quick. In my life, I've seen what we would consider big magic and then smaller day-to-day magic. It almost becomes like synchronicity, like things just working out. But I want to talk about the big magic because that's what we need in our lives right now. When I was a young man, and I know some of you have heard this, so stay with me because there's new stuff that I haven't taught before coming at the end. So stay with me through these stories that you've already heard, but it's important for the new people. When I was a young man, I was in the car with my dad, and a good friend of mine was up in the mountains. I was down in the valley, and I heard God speak to me and say, pray. And I asked God, what is it? Is it Mom? And he said, no, it's, and then he gave the name of the person. And so I started praying, and then I started praying in my language of angels. And then Spirit gave me this complete peace that everything was fine. So at the time, we didn't have cell phones back then. I looked at the clock in the car to see what time it was. And I was going to ask my friend, what in the world happened that I would hear God speak to me that clearly? And when I got home later and asked her this question, she got tears in her eyes and explained how she was walking to work at that exact time, and the car was hooting and hollering and, hey baby, we'll give you a ride and what have you. She said no. They pulled down below at a turnoff. They jumped out and they said grab her, and they were trying to throw her in the car. She called out on the name of the Lord, and she said they actually froze like statues. My friends, that is the kind of magic we need. Now I want you to get this. You need to know what energy we're calling on. I don't think I've ever shared this before. I was taking an evening class at that time, and I shared this story with my teacher in the class, I don't even want to get into this right now, but anyway, it's a funny story. I might get into it later. But we ended up talking in front of the whole class about this story, and I'll tell you what he told me. He goes, do you know what? That was just luck. And I said, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Explain to me how luck works. Show me how I can be that many miles away at the exact same time, hear from God, tell me, no, it's not Mom, it's my friend. And then she breaks down in tears and tells me how at that exact time she was being abducted. How is that luck? Let me tell you something. If that is luck, then we need to all bow down and worship the mighty God that you have named luck. We need to build churches with steeples with a lucky horseshoe on the top, because that God cares about people. Any of the other matrix religions, gods, those family members would be at a funeral right now because they didn't have the almighty God luck to come to her rescue. My friends, there is power when you connect to the true source of power. And my friends, I want to share one more story with you. And this is one people can't wrap their minds around. And that's okay. There's many magic and miracles that we work in. Like I said, it's almost synchronicity. Like after it happens, you think, oh, well, that makes sense. That probably would have happened anyway. But there's some stories there's no explanation for. And this is one of my all-time favorites. And I have a reason for telling these, my friends, so please stay with me. And I'm going to teach you something, like I said, you've never seen before. Spirit came to me in my dreams last night and gave me this, and I'm really excited. For many weeks, I was having this feeling that something was wrong, something involving my children. So I told my ex-wife, keep an eye on the kids. I'm getting this stirring. Something's wrong. I told my parents. I told anyone that was watching the kids during that time, pay attention. Something's going on. And one night after a couple weeks, I was in that place between awake and asleep in my meditation, and I was taken in spirit to the bottom of my ex-wife's driveway, and I was standing there between the driveway and the street, and Spirit told me to put up a shield of faith. Now, in my mind, growing up in Sunday school, the shield of faith we always saw in a picture was like a shield on a Roman soldier's arm, and then he had a sword. And I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And the Spirit showed me it was a shield that was going all the way across the driveway, blocking the street. And then he actually gave me the words, what we would call the spell or the prayer to say. He gave me the code, the words to speak, this time in our human language and angel language. And you know, as I told that last story, I prayed in my human language, and then Spirit gave me that angel language. And so I was given this code, this shield to put up. And I'll tell you what happened. Not long after that morning, I got a call. And my ex-wife said, "You won't believe what just happened." My son was headed down a driveway on his scooter, on her driveway there. And it was a steep driveway that shot right out on the street. He'd done it many times. But this time there was a parked car where he couldn't see the cars coming down the street. And a lot of times those cars would speed on that street. This car was hauling, and she could tell they were going to intersect. And Taylor couldn't see, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, but her new husband was mowing the lawn. She said it was like something you would see in a nightmare. And they're coming. He got to the bottom of the driveway, and he just stopped, bounced off of an invisible shield. Hello, my friends, that is magic and miracles. Anyone else worshiping the Matrix God would be planning a funeral. I can tell you story after story after story. My friends, you've got to connect to the highest good, to Spirit. There's a lot of what they call gods out there, but those gods aren't very good. They kill men, women, children, don't seem to really have much time for you and your needs. But my friends, I tell you, Ahura Mazda, the all-good Spirit, He's unconditional love, peace, joy, kindness, goodness, power, magic, and freedom. That's why Zarathustra, that's why the Christ, they work in magic and miracles and power. And so can you. But you've got to get those words. You've got to get that code. And some of the words are words that have been before. My friends, do you realize this? You could contact Jesus Christ of Nazareth right this second. You could contact Zarathustra right now. We've talked about this before. I'm a huge fan of Einstein and Tesla. And do you know what? They got their information not from schools, not from teachers, not from books, but what they called imagination. And they tapped into something higher, and they got codes and information, what we nowadays in the spiritual community are calling light codes. My friends, you can tap into those. You can channel your energy. And that's what I want you to get today, channeling your energy. What energy are you channeling? What energy are you drawing from? A God that kills men, women, and children, that loves sometimes, hates sometimes, at peace sometimes, war sometimes. Okay, now please stay with me. We have a lot to cover, but I promise you, by the end of this, it's going to change everything. I don't want to lose you, but I have so much to discuss, and I want to get it in this video. My friends, it doesn't matter what you call your God. You can say Jehovah, Allah, Shiva, best friend, Father. It doesn't matter the name. You can call it, like we said, luck. Okay, it's the spirit behind the name that you give, your idea of God. And it comes, I think, again, of Einstein. And he said, the one question every man and woman has to ask themselves: is the universe kind? Is it good? Because that's going to shape the world that you manifest in your life. And I got to read this. This was on my mind last night. It kept coming to me. Listen, it's called It Works. This is by a Sufi poet, Rabia, that we talked about. And this is everything right here. Would you come if someone called you by the wrong name? I wept because for years he did not enter my arms. Then one night I was told a secret. Perhaps the name you call God is not really his. maybe it is just an alias. I thought about this and came up with a pet name for my beloved I never mentioned to others. All I can say is it works. My friends, it's a heart thing. It doesn't matter the name. It's the heart. It's the connection. It's who do you see God is being. I love this. She made a pet name that's only between her and Spirit. And like I said, it could be luck, couldn't it? But you might be calling the highest principle of good God by the wrong name because of your idea of who a Jehovah is, who a Allah is, who a Shiva is. Because, my friends, by design, the dark system religions has created him as mixed, as love and hate, peace and war. Will kill men, women, children to keep people bound in fear and under their control. But my friends, today you're going to break free from these wrong ideas of who God is. You're going to break free from the wrong ideas of who you are. And then something magical happens. You break free from what has bound you in death and sickness and fear. You're going to break free and realize that you can work in magic and miracles, that you have access to the divine mind. Just like Einstein and Tesla, they were scientists. They could connect with other scientists and alchemists before them and build on that. And here they're connecting with people outside time and space. And it don't matter what you are. You can be a mom, a doctor, a mechanic, and you can connect with these other beings. As a prophet, I connect with the Christ and with Zarathustra, and I build on their knowledge and wisdom, and I get these ideas from outside of time, space, just like I did last night with this message. And what they're showing me, there are already codes in the collective mind, what we call light codes. And I want you to think of almost like a computer, like you're writing code to create reality. There's a vibrational code that creates a real reality. And as we're learning and we know that our vibration creates. I want to read to you real quick from Asha before I show you what you got to do. It says, the original word is that all good comes from the Creator. Original word, it's a vibration. It's the perfect Creator's perfect original idea. An idea of you and this earth as perfect. We got to come back into alignment with that thought, that vibration, so we create it. Because my friends, here on this planet, what man vibrates, he creates. What he believes is true is what he materializes in this world. This is what I've been building up for the whole video. This is what I want you to get. This is what Spirit put in my heart last night. It says, I am perfect spirit, God's child thought, and spirit makes body form. Get that? Spirit makes body form. It makes our world form, our life form, our vibration, our spirit vibrates form. Your form, whether it's going to be healthy, well, powerful, free, kind, good, or not. It's the spirit that you hold makes form. What spirit are you holding? I want to be careful here because I don't want to lose anyone. But you may be holding the wrong spirit and you're therefore creating the wrong form. I'm going to read this again. I am perfect spirit, God's child thought, and spirit makes body form. Therefore my body is perfect. My world is perfect. My friends, this is the creation that we do with every beat of our heart. If you are holding the highest idea of Ahura Mazda, the all-good spirit that is unconditional love no matter what's going on. It's what always cracks me up about these matrix world religions. That the way humans are acting on this planet can get God to get angry, or jealous, or want to kill and hate and destroy because they're making him so angry. It's so ridiculous. And as you go inside to that divine spark inside of you, you realize those stories are air, but they have you scared to death to question them. They're told you cannot question that. His ways are just beyond what your mind can conceive. That is ridiculous to think that your mind, conceive higher ideas than God could do. And that's something I've run up against time and time again. I have very rich friends that have bought other preachers' Prevost bust, built them buildings. We could use those things here at the Order of the Magi, couldn't we? But you know what they told me? That my idea of God is too good. Isn't that funny? It's too good to be true. It's too good to be real. Could you imagine if your brain could come up with a God that is better than God? That wouldn't be a very good sign. You know what I'm saying? My friends, we have the truth here, and we're going to grow in power because we have the magic. But I need you to operate in this magic. And what Spirit was showing me, yes, we can get these connection and codes from Spirit that exist, but we need to start writing our own for this time right now. You need to start writing your own prayers. There's one I do every day. This is a symbol that I created, and it means Asha come. Asha is. It's about harmony. It's about divine order, and I meditate on this and all that it means. It means that I am divine life and death cannot enter, and I'm vibrating that divine life. I am divine health. Sickness and disease dies when it touches me. That's why I never get sick, my friends, because I see it, I vibrate it, I create it. I am blessed in everything I do. Me and my children will live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. I've seen it time and time again. My children and I can't die. We are blessed. We are powerful. We are free. Operate where you can. Don't get yourself in trouble with this. But my friends, I've tested this. People have told me this is impossible. And do you know what I've done? I thought about it. I go, I don't accept that. And so I do it. And then I tell them, well, I just did it. And they go, okay, well, maybe you could do that, but this is impossible. And I think about that, and I meditate on it, and I go do it. And I say, well, I just did it. And my friends, nothing is impossible. We need just to get in alignment with the right mind, the good mind, the God mind, Vohu Menu. My friends, Zoroastrianism is the love of my life, and it is going to come back and rule the world. And I'll tell you why. Because it's the truth. God is all good. Love, peace, joy, kindness, goodness. And He has no attributes of the evil spirit. And that's what we want for our life. That's what we want for our world. That's what we want for our children and children's children. That kind of earth to inherit. A new earth, but it's going to take a new mind, a new idea of who God is for many of you, and a new vibration that you choose to hold every day. You can no longer afford, if you want a new earth, to be whining about how things are, to be complaining about how things are. You need to start vibrating how you want them to be, to see that, to hold that. You need to start taking the time. Do you really meditate every day? Do you have a symbol that you focus on and you hold that divine order of who you are and how you want the world to be and how in truth it is, and you see it till you start to believe it and you start to vibrate it, and then it don't matter how anyone else is acting around you, what's going on around you. You don't care about no coronavirus, no sickness, disease, death, and hell. You don't care about the world news, because you're creating new news. And do you know what, my friends? You can do that in your own life. I've shown that with my stories in my family, in my life, but I want to take this to the collective consciousness, and I need you to start building up an army of like-minded warriors that will hold these high vibrations of the highest God. Do you have a copy of Asha by Winston Head available at Amazon? All the money goes to charity. All the word in it goes to you changing your life like it was meant to be.